Hello, it's Sophie from Meadow Sweet Posies here, and I just thought I'd show you how to put together a spiral bound bunch of flowers. So for my posies, all our posies are put together this way. So if you start with the first stem, hold it up in front of you, and then take another stem. Ideally a nice straight one makes it easier when you're learning. And you put it with the flowers to the back at a 45-degree angle to the first one. And then you just move it round a little bit with your fingers and put the next one at 45 degrees to the last one. Turn it round a little bit. Gets a bit easier once you put 4 or 5 pieces together, because then you have a little cluster. You kind of see what's going on. But the whole point of doing this is that each stem supports the previous one, so that all together you're much more in control of the bunch that you've got going on at the top. What we're trying to do is get a nice shape arrangement at the top, and if we do this spiral bound technique, which has a pinch point in the middle where you're sort of firmly but gently holding the stems, then you can arrange the flowers exactly how you want them, and everything's in the place that you want it to be, which is partly to do with what you think looks nice, but also once you've got the shape you can feed extra flowers in through the top to fill up any gap areas that you don't like the look of. So I'm just gradually adding a stem at a time. Every single one is going the same way round at the same angle. And I'm just doing a bit of a mixture, making sure that there's some nice colour in what's going to be the middle of the arrangement. Because I don't want it to look like, you know, that it's all green. There's some nice bits of texture. This is bunny's ears grown in Shropshire. Just tuck them in. These are the sort of things that you could pop in after you've made the main arrangement, when there's any gaps to fill. So keep going round. Some lovely variegated pittosporum, nice and festive looking. Got some Lincolnshire grown tulips in here. Cornish alstroemeria, Cornish, what's it called, statice. There's an old wives' tale about not just using red and white, so I do try and listen to that and add a bit of colour as well. Even twigs, quite nice. Everything going in at that 45-degree angle and then a little turn. By the way, this took me ages to sort of perfect, so don't worry about it too much if it's a bit tricky to start with. You get there in the end, and even if you don't, it's a nice bunch of flowers. So 45-degree angle and a little turn, and it's starting to look like a good shape at the top. I keep going. We've got narcissi from the Isles of Scilly. These are paper whites, some of the earlier ones, just in time for Christmas, and they smell really lovely too. Right, it's looking pretty good. Kind of got quite a lot of flowers in there. Little bit of homegrown eucalyptus. I think a few more twigs. I quite like twigs going in at this time of the year. Right, there we go, something like that. Nice bunch. So you know you've done it right if all the stems are heading in the same direction and there's a nice pinch point in the centre. So if you're going to tie that up as a bunch, that's where you'd put the tie. And then if you want to neaten the stems, make sure they're all about the same length and that every stem will go into the water. Okay.